The tech empire of Mark Zuckerberg has a long history of exploiting users through the use of centralized systems. It is now attempting to join Web3. Hey, before we begin, I think I need to bring up the fact that none of this is financial advice, and I'm definitely not a financial advisor. Now, on with the video. It's far too important to entrust companies like Meta and other massive social networks with shaping the future of how we socialize online. The tendency of Meta to drastically miss the mark can be understood by taking a cursory look at its past. Some businesses prefer to use Web3 principles to fix Web2 flaws, and Meta, formerly known as Facebook, provides us with some of the most helpful illustrations of those wrongs as the poster child for big, centralized organizations. Let's discuss 3 instances in which Meta failed to create the social experiences of the future online. Limiting Open Graph. In order to encourage more people to use its apps, Meta, which was then still known as Facebook, released its Open Graph protocol in 2010. This protocol gives developers access to a network of links between friends. Users could transfer their Facebook identities from one app to another in this way, which made it simpler for developers to provide each user with a tailored experience. A few years later, the company changed course and started being ruthless in denying developers access to friends, its newsfeed, and other data. This was primarily done to limit competition because Facebook was concerned that people would try to recreate its social graphs by reverse engineering them. As a result, a product that many in the community now consider essential was killed. It was innovative until it lost its commercial viability. Given its centralized power and perception that sharing this information was arming its rivals, Facebook felt strongly that it should be able to abruptly halt access to this information. Taking away the @Metaverse Instagram handle from a user. Users place a lot of value on their online social identities because they carry the burden of their time and effort online and serve as a representation of who they are. Therefore, a problem with social media handles arose when Facebook changed its name to Meta and got a new logo and image. The Metaverse handle was already being regularly used by an active Instagram user who had already registered it. Meta abruptly blocked her account after that. The revelation of the story led to some predictable bad press for the dominant social media company. The emergent decentralized paradigm placed a strong emphasis on ownership and transparency. Future social media platforms will be created in a way that makes power abuse either practically impossible or extremely obvious. No software or administrator will be able to manually change what is yours. It will be yours. Cambridge Analytica. In case you forgot, Facebook spent a significant portion of the 2010s gathering personal information from millions of its users on behalf of the British consulting company Cambridge Analytica. The company's history was defined by the scandal surrounding the use of that data, which was primarily used with users' consent for political advertising. Despite being big news at the time, nothing about the way the company runs or how the users might be protected doesn't seem to have changed. Following up on the story in 2021, NPR discovered that neither Facebook nor its users had undergone any reform as a result of its bad behavior. The company's careless action, if anything, only served to highlight the need for a layer of self-sovereign identity and access controls over the internet. Identity on the internet is becoming increasingly important as some people realize this, and blockchain is perfectly suited to address this issue. Additionally, Meta's history offers a classic illustration of surveillance capitalism, which should outrage any user to the very core. Now that 3 well-documented incidents have come to light, it is clear that older mega-social platform generations and the business models they represent cannot be relied upon to create a mature internet ecosystem. But what can we do about it? It is up to us to find a solution to Meta. The development of the internet will involve the cooperation of numerous initiatives, programmers, and users who value their own sovereignty. The groundwork has been laid for small, nimble, next-generation businesses to fundamentally alter how people interact with others online and express their identities. Smaller, more dedicated teams will be more concerned with creating change and enhancing one another than increasing revenue. These emerging businesses have the chance to create the foundations for a bottom-up, decentralized society. They can establish a framework and infrastructure that enables people to build up and control their social capital and status both within and across a variety of social networks. They can increase discoverability and enable more meaningful connections by weaving trust into a structure of their social networks. By doing this, they can build a more resilient, decentralized, and open internet for everyone. The experiences of companies from an earlier generation also highlight the significance of having an open source, decentralized internet protocol. The coordination of these efforts, the establishment of social data interoperability standards, the provision of a decentralized and economical, scalable, universal data storage solution, and the facilitation of rapid resource exploitation by application developers all require the development of a protocol. A protocol like that would be a potent weapon to counter this surveillance capitalism of businesses like Meta. Users would have complete control over their identity and data, which would make it much more difficult for bad actors to misuse personal information. However, this is no easy task. The next web is a massive undertaking that will need the dedication of numerous individuals and organizations. It will be the first time that humanity's genius or collective brilliance has been concentrated and voluntarily orchestrated. The good news is that there may have been a significant shift in the web's overall ethos. Composability and interoperability are more than just technical specifications. There are also fundamental value claims we sincerely uphold and espouse with others to collaborate. To create a better future for the internet, we must fulfill this requirement. But we must also be wary of the consequences of inaction. As well as action, there is inaction. The results of doing nothing in response to Meta's issues are obvious. You will never truly own your digital identity because it can always be modified, changed, or even destroyed. This threat looms darker and larger as we merge our physical and digital selves more and more, blur the lines between them, and post more of our individual and collective values online. In the big picture, we'll be moving towards a society of total surveillance capitalism, in which no one will be able to control their data or identity, and their data will be further commercialized, turning users into objects who progressively lose awareness of the issue and the desire to take action. Any discussions or initiatives regarding human agency and the meaningful social connections of human collectives are reduced in a scope by a system that is entirely focused on making money. To create a better future for the internet and human society as a whole, we must act right away. We have an opportunity to change the way things are done thanks to the next web, and we must take all advantage of it. To create a better future for the internet and human society as a whole, we must act right away. We have an opportunity to change the way things are done thanks to the next web, and we must take all advantage of it. Hey, are you subscribed yet? Why not? It's free. And hit the notification bell to get notified every time we have new crypto and Web3 related content. Like the video if you liked it, and till next time, CoinFixer, signing off.